It's a beautiful day today and we're reading about some more entitled parents. I'm excited for this episode, but I'm also kind of nervous. This subreddit can definitely be horrifying. And yeah, let's get into it. Enjoy, guys. My dad is saying that I'm keeping his granddaughter from him. I have a beautiful 2.5-month-old baby. My dad started fighting with me because I refused to leave her alone with him until he shows me that he can take care of her, change diapers and feed from bottle and warm up breast milk, etc. We had a huge fight. There was yelling, and when I told him the next day that I can't do this anymore because it's preventing me from caring for my baby properly, he complained that I'm putting her over my relationship with him. Duh. So I told him she is more important to me, and I'll talk to him when she doesn't need me 24/7, and I blocked him. My mum came over a few times the next week and eventually asked me if she could come over with my dad so he can see her. I said yeah. He came over, threw a fit that she was asleep, and then left. The next day I was at my parents' house with her while my dad was at work. I was downstairs in the living room with her when he came home early. My mum offered him to wash his hands and hold her, something that we also fought over, and he just stomped angrily upstairs. And when mum went to talk to him, he apparently wanted her to bring my baby to him without me. I obviously refused because she's so small and I don't trust him even with mum's supervision, and he's now claiming that I'm keeping her away from him. To be fair, maybe I should. Edit, I require anybody and everybody who wants to help with my daughter to show me that they can care for her. Taking care of a baby, especially an infant, has changed so much in the past 10 years, let alone the 30 years since I was that age. All of the other grandparents, my mum and in-laws, were all happy to help around and didn't mind having to show me that they can care for her. My dad is the only one who's refused and was insulted by it. He wouldn't even change her diaper, regardless of how I phrased it. If he won't show me that he can care for her while I'm away for an hour, then I can't trust him. Also, in this specific case, he insisted that I stay out of the room while he holds her, which is a very strange request. I wasn't keeping her away from him. He was welcome to hold her under my supervision. He just refused to have me there, so I didn't let him hold her. Wow, that's so annoying. Why does he feel like he has to have the baby without you? Have you told him he's acting like a baby? The top comment says, tell him I grew up, your house, your rules. That's fine. You need to understand, my baby, my rules. If not following them keeps you from her, that's on you, not me. Yeah, definitely. And OP said that's pretty much what I told my mum, and she agreed. She thinks I should have let her take my daughter to him just to please him, but she understands that I don't feel comfortable with it and respects it. Yeah, no, you should not be doing stuff just to please him. Yeah, and like this comment says, your dad is just jealous that he's not the only baby in the family anymore, but you definitely shouldn't just do what he says to please him, OP. You're being super reasonable. There's an update to a post that we read a little while ago called Entitled Mother-in-Law Can't Believe That She Might Need to Pay for Her Own Housing. Actually, there's two updates. I'm going to read that original post again super fast so it does make sense. Entitled Mother-in-Law Can't Believe That She Might Need to Pay for Her Own Housing. I just want to vent. I've been with my husband about 15 years and we were very low contact with his family for most of it because he couldn't stand them. I probably only met his mum 3 or 4 times even though we lived in the same city. Well, 2 years ago we get a call from Adult Protective Services. She was in the hospital after calling 911, and when they'd gone together, the apartment she shared with her daughter, who was also an entitled piece of crap, a whole other story, was in such bad condition that they didn't want to release her back there. I'm sure they were happy to find somebody else to take her, so we almost didn't even question whether there were other options and we agreed to take her. We moved her in. It's been a nightmare. She's so entitled and narcissistic. She doesn't have much income because she hardly ever works, so it's pretty measly social security. She spends about half of her monthly income on cigarettes. We so love smelling it all the time. She does smoke outside, but when we first got her and she was pretty frail and it was winter, we did let her smoke in the garage, which was a huge mistake and turned into a giant tantrum when we finally put a stop to it. Lucky for her, she gets Medicare fully paid for by the state and does get food stamps, but we don't charge her anything. She's a slob, has probably taken 5 or 6 showers in 2 years, and we really resent having her here now. She never cleans up after herself, makes noises constantly, and frequently acts like a child and throws tantrums. For example, she ran out of a chocolate muffin that she likes, but still had cake and other snacks. Oh yeah, this one. She huffled and slammed the pantry and said, I guess I'll just have to go without, as usual. We make sure that she gets all of her meds, gets food, even if her food stamps run out, and drive her to all medical appointments. Some are 90 miles away. Oh my god. And take 4 hours. But yeah, she goes without. I wish we'd tried to find an alternative earlier, but we finally are trying. Today, I took her to meet with a social worker about Section 8 housing. She made it off the waiting list and we're waiting to see how much she might get and whether we can find her a studio or something. The lady explained that she'd have to pay 30 to 40% of her income towards the rent. Mother-in-law started complaining about it immediately, how they were going to take all of her money. I'm just sitting here like, biatch, you live in my house for free. Why shouldn't you have to pay something towards your own basic needs such as housing? What the hell? Yeah, I definitely remember reading that post. Absolutely wild. There's there's an update here. Update, entitled mother-in-law can't believe that she'll have to pay for her own housing. She got an apartment. Woohoo! It's a really nice efficiency close by to our house. New windows, new mini split for heat and cool. Utilities included, a safe area. It's on the ground floor. There's hardwood floors. It's freaking perfect. With Section 8, you'll only have to pay $150 a month. We went to go see it yesterday. Should be able to sign the lease on Monday. Well, guess what? I don't like it. We told her she doesn't have a choice. She kept on pestering the property manager about which direction the window faced and decided she needed windows that face a different way, choosing beggar much. Now she's pouting and avoiding us and loudly yelling to herself about how she's in a horrible mood and just generally moaning. I can't wait to move her out and deep clean and take our space back. God, I bet you can't, OP. Like the top comment says, congratulations, pack her crap up and change the locks. Yeah, definitely. They sound insufferable, OP. There's another update here. Update 2. We moved it into the apartment a week ago. It's been so nice to have our peace and quiet back. We deep cleaned the room and the bathroom she used. So gross. So everything is great for us, but of course she's already trying to sabotage it. As for the moving process, she acted like she was weak and dying the whole time. We did it all for her, including finding her a really nice used recliner chair. She paid for it, but didn't come to the store with us because she was so weak. She has a great setup, but she still hasn't slept at all and doesn't like it. Now she doesn't even like the recliner for unspecified reasons, claiming that her old one was better. Wow, they just enjoy complaining about stuff. The old one was so dirty when she moved in with us that we wouldn't even allow it to come inside, and we finally tossed it. The new one is categorically better. Here's the worst part. It's a no smoking building. It's in big bold text in the lease, and she knows this. She hasn't smoked inside in a long time anyway, so we figured she'd be used to it, and I wasn't going to let her turn down the apartment because of it. We found a cheap table and set up a smoking area outside, away from the building, and where she doesn't have to do any steps up or down. One neighbor already talked to her about smoke coming into his window and moved the table further out, so I already know that somebody in the building isn't cool with smoke. We went one morning to bring her some things and she was outside smoking, but as soon as she saw us, she said, "Guys, I smoked inside." I guess she knew we'd be able to tell from the smell. She played dumb about the rule and we reiterated it very clearly and reiterated in no uncertain terms that if she does get kicked out, she will not move back in with us. She claims that some guy told her that everybody smokes inside and they don't care. My husband went over again a few days later and she was clearly about to light up inside, but said she was getting ready to go outside. Then yesterday we talked to her about it again and she kept on making excuses. What about when it snows and rains? It's spring and very dry here. Why is that even relevant? Well, in the morning I need a cigarette and my coffee and I need to have my pills. I guess it's too hard to go outside somewhere in that sequence of events. My husband and I both lost our cool. If you get your dumb ass kicked out, you're going to be homeless. You won't just be smoking in the rain and the snow. You'll be living in it. It's like she supposedly hears us but either doesn't believe us or is so screwed up in her brain that she thinks her need to smoke a cigarette inside is actually more important than ensuring that she has a roof over her head. Oh my god, right when they can't get any more frustrating, they get even more frustrating. Yeah, so were they trying to get kicked out by smoking inside because they felt like they were going to be able to move back in with you guys? Well, I'm so happy that you told her that that's not going to happen. I feel like we're definitely going to see more updates on this. Yeah, the top comment says she's deliberately smoking inside to get herself evicted so she can move back in with you. And OP said, I'm calling a caseworker on Monday so that they can help her transition to the Medicare nursing home, and that'll be her next stop. I'm sure they'll let her smoke there. Oh, I feel so sorry for you, OP. What an awful situation. Hopefully it's sort of nearly the end of it, but I feel like it isn't. Good luck and I hope it gets better. The next one is called Mum Got Scammed Again, and now I'm done. I have posted here before, so maybe this is sort of an update. My 68-year-old mother is losing her mind, has been for a while now. We knew that she'd been conversing with several different people online for over a year, most of which claimed to be famous men and all of which needed money for various things. We'd been telling her since December that she was being scammed, tried involving DHR and the agency who helps protect seniors, all falling on deaf ears. Courts won't do anything without a medical diagnosis. Neurologist appointments take months, so we're just stuck trying to keep her from self-destructing until then. End of February, she finally admits that she needs help. Actually, she called my brother and said that she was broke and he needed to fix it, but we'll say that that was asking for help. Per the bank, her home was a few hours from going into foreclosure on the day that we got the call from her, and her utilities got turned off the very next week. She has over $100,000 in credit card debt, most of it from sending these men pictures of every single credit card that she has. Oh god, that's bad. She also gave them all of her bank account information and sent them at least $30,000 in cash. What? Via Bitcoin ATMs or prepaid gift cards. I'm not sure that I'll ever know exactly what she spent on them, but I do know she owes $7,000 in taxes this year from all of the withdrawals that she made to her retirement, which she freely admits that she sent to these men. She also still swears that every single one of them actually are celebrities that they claim to be, and still truly believes one of them is the love of her life. My brother and I told her the only way that we'd help is if she gave us power of attorney, which she did. We then caught up her house payments and reconnected the utilities. I've been going through her bills as I pay all all of them and trying to help her budget, including finding her cheaper internet and TV and cell phone plans so she'll be able to pay her own bills going forward on a fixed income. She's been beyond nasty to me every step of the way, telling me what a disappointment I am and that she wishes I was never born. There have been, threats, to which she laughed in my face and told the police that she would never do anything dramatic. She calls me almost daily and tells me that she fell, only for myself or the ambulance to rush over and have her admit that she wasn't actually hurt, but was hoping that a trip to the ER would get her pain meds. I took her phone, I created a new Apple ID, and I had it set so she couldn't text or call anybody not saved in her contacts, and she also can't add people or numbers or apps without my approval. The only thing short of changing her number I could do to stop her contacting these scammers, but she adamantly refused to change the number because she's had that one for 30 plus years, but she has still been getting hundreds of texts from 6-digit numbers. I'm guessing because she responded to them in the past, so they were able to get around the block. I told her 1,000 times not to even open them, delete them or send them to junk. She had hip replacement surgery this past week. While in the hospital, she received a text telling her that she won a free oxygen machine and called this number to claim your prize. She texts me and tells me that she needs to add this number to her phone because it's a home health medical equipment company and she wants to talk to them about Life Alert. So I add their number. She calls and they tell her she just needs to give them her bank account information to cover the shipping, and she gives it to them. Oh no. And then she calls to crow about her winnings. I called the same number, and what do you know? I'm also an instant winner if I will just give them my bank account information. Hit 0 to speak with a person, and now I've won a free year of DirecTV. Hit 0 again, and now I've won a free year of pest control from Terminix if I just enter my bank account information. So a total scam that my mother has again fallen for while laying in her hospital bed recovering from surgery. Like the last 2 months didn't even happen. Like she's learnt absolutely nothing from this whole experience. She doesn't even need an oxygen machine, but decided that since her parents had breathing issues at the end of their lives, and because this opportunity was far too good to pass up on in case she needs one later, she tells me to just call them back and cancel because I'm sure phone scammers will totally forget about your bank account if you just ask them nicely. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, she's been showing signs of progressive dementia and is at moderate to moderately severe cognitive decline on the staging models. So I get it, this is the new normal for her. She no longer possesses the mental capacity to understand real from fake, and she will continue to fall for stuff like this as long as she's alive, and I can't really do anything to stop it. I can just crawl along behind her and try to fix it while hoping she shows up to the neuro in May so I can get the courts to intervene. She'll always be in danger to herself and her own well-being, with the added bonus of being awful to me every step of the way. So I've decided I'm done trying to save her from herself. I'm opening another new bank account for her tomorrow and putting what little money she still has in it. I have turned off all the automatic payments that have been coming out of my account, and I'll be turning off all the parental controls I had established on her electronics. Then I'm telling her good luck. Don't call me when you're on fire again, and then I'm blocking her on my phone. My brother and I believe that she'll be in a mess again by the 4th of July. Her problem, not ours. I've had a heart issue for 2 years now. Inappropriate sinus tachycardia that isn't responding to medications. Both of my cardiologists have told me that stress is exacerbating my condition. I've lost 25 pounds over the last 3 months, which I'm also chalking up to stress. I can't explain the peace I feel in my soul tonight knowing that I've done everything I could for this woman, and now I just get to be done tomorrow. It's complicated and sad and frustrating because oh how have I tried to help her, and I know how this will end, but it's also so very calming to know that I'm done. I'm free. Oh, what a hard situation. So sorry to hear about that, OP. You've done everything you can though, and like this comment says, sounds like a perfect example of bailing water out of a sinking ship. You've decided to swim for the shore before the ship is entirely sunk. It must be hard doing that to a parent that you obviously care for, but in the end it is the best thing you can do for yourself. I'm sorry you had to make the choice, but if it helps any, it is the wise decision. Yeah, definitely. You've tried as much as you can, OP, and good on you for doing that. But yeah, you're right. Frustrating, complicated, and sad. Am I the a-hole for telling my father that I don't really care how nice his new girlfriend is? She'll never be welcome at my home. Hey guys, am I the a-hole deleted my post 2 days ago because of their rule about mentioning violence? I did message the mods and I told them I didn't make any mentions of that at any point, and their response was that threads that mention violence tend to lead to violent comments. Honestly, it is fine. I do think it's unfair, but I understand where they're coming from. I'm reposting here because my father and I are still fighting about what happened, and I do intend to update you at some point. My 33 female father, 60s, can't keep a girlfriend for long. My mum divorced him when I was a child, and since then he's had no interest in remarrying and settling down. Today, his relationships don't tend to last much longer than a year. I'm married and I have 2 kids, 8 male and 4 female, because I don't want them to get too attached to a new step-grandma every few months. I laid some ground rules when my son was born. My father wasn't allowed to introduce any new girlfriends to them until 6 months into the relationship. For most of my kids' lives, we had no problems with that. Then came my father's girlfriend from 2022, who was an absolute nightmare of a person. My kids only met her once, but it was enough for me to consider her unsafe to be around my family. Though they later broke up, my father initially tried to justify her behavior. Because of that whole affair, I changed the rule. He'd have to wait a year instead of 6 months before introducing new girlfriends. If he tried to do so before that. She'd never be allowed to come to my place. He protested at first because most of his relationships don't last that long, but I held my ground and he eventually agreed. He was with another woman for 9 months last year, and my children never met her. My father's been with his newest girlfriend for 6 months. I've never really met her because she lives an hour away. She's apparently kid obsessed and has been asking to meet his grandkids for quite a while. He's tried to convince me to make an exception for her for a few months, but I always say no, and I remind him of my rules. My daughter is turning 4 this week, and we threw her a birthday party yesterday. It took place at an event space that our building has. My father showed up an hour late with his new girlfriend. I approached them to ask what he was doing. He said his new girlfriend was excited to meet my kids, and he thought the birthday party would be a good place to introduce them. Oh yeah, dude, just ruin a birthday party? Terrible idea. Because they'd been together for half a year, he didn't think it would be such a big deal. I told him the girlfriend had to leave before my kids saw her. My dad tried to give other excuses, such as the fact that my stepdad, who's been with my mum for more than 20 years, was there, and said that if she left, then so would he. I told them to be my guest, and they both left. Earlier today, my father called me. He told me off for kicking them out of the party. He said that my rules were too restrictive, and his new girlfriend was a lovely person who deserved to meet my kids. I told him that not only do I not care how nice she is, but I'll also never welcome her at my home after that stunt that he pulled. She can meet my kids after the 12-month mark, but not at my place. We fought for a while before he hung up on me. My husband and my sister, who's staying with us for a few days, witnessed most of it. My husband is on my side, but my sister thinks I'm being needlessly cruel to a woman that I've never met. Am I the a-hole? Edit, I couldn't say what the woman my father dated in 2022 did that made me change the rule on am I the a-hole, so I'll explain it here. On our first meeting with her, the girlfriend slapped my then 2-year-old daughter. Oh my god, because she spilled a cup of juice on her lap, staining her white dress. We were across the room and we weren't able to stop her until it was too late. When we confronted her, the excuse was that the dress was new and expensive. She refused to apologize. Oh my god, they slapped a 2-year-old and they're not apologizing. My daughter doesn't remember it, but my son witnessed the whole thing. My father only defended her when we kicked her out. He broke up with her the next day and apologized. It took us a few months and a lot of talking things through to even let him near our kids after that. Wow, that's revolting. There is an update here. Update, I told my father that his new girlfriend will never be welcome at my home. Hey everybody, I posted on Am I the Gay Hole about a week ago. It got deleted, but I reposted it on my page. I've mostly solved the situation since. There are some things I think I should clarify about my relationship with my father first, so this might get long. I can't be the first to say this, but Reddit is by no means a place to accurately describe any type of relationship in full detail, especially a familial one. So those who said that I don't like my father or don't approve of his lifestyle are jumping to conclusions. I love my father very much and I am grateful for everything he's done for me. But yeah, he's an a-hole. We've had a rough relationship since I was a kid. It got much better after I moved out, mostly because we both realized we wouldn't have any relationship whatsoever if we didn't make any effort to change. As much as my father has become a better person, he still has some extremely narcissistic tendencies and they make themselves obvious every now and then. The most relevant one in this situation is the fact that he's terrible with boundaries. I came up with a metaphor in the comments on my previous post that I think illustrates it. He wants a door. I give him a window instead. He says he's fine with the window. Next thing I know, he's throwing rocks at the window until it's big enough to be a door. Not the best metaphor I've ever written, but I think it does apply. And I want to add that one of the main reasons our relationship was so rocky when I was younger was because I had no means of restoring the window. Now that we don't live together and I pay my own bills, it has gotten easier to either stop him from throwing rocks or not give him windows in the first place. On that note, my father is a pretty hands-on grandfather. We only see him once a month, but he FaceTimes me pretty frequently and the kids love him. So introducing new girlfriends as grandpa's friends, as many suggested, wouldn't work. We tried it once and they blew their cover in less than an hour. Also, it's not that I don't approve of my father's lifestyle. I simply don't care. I'm 33 years old. I have a job, a husband and 2 children. My father's dating habits are neither my business nor my concern. He can date anybody he wants for as long as he wants, as long as everybody is over 18 and not a complete monster. What I do care about is how this affects my children. I've been dealing with my father's revolving door since I was 10. Back then, his relationships tended to last at least 2 years, but it still took a toll on both me and my younger sister. The first woman my father dated after the divorce was insane and ruined my childhood. The next one was amazing, but didn't stick around for long. The following one was unpleasant, and the list goes on. I don't want my children to go through this lack of stability. I'm carrying that baggage. They don't need to know how heavy it is. The last thing I want to add here is that my father has another major problem. He's obsessed with both pleasing everybody and the idea that I have to please everybody. That almost ruined our relationship completely when I was younger, and sadly, he hasn't really let go of that yet. The former is why he defended his 2022 girlfriend. I explained what happened on the repost I made, and the latter is the reason he was so pissed at me for banning his new girlfriend after the party fiasco. Okay, onto the actual update. My father and I had a minor fight over the phone about what happened at the party on Monday. 2 days later, his girlfriend called me. She asked me why I'd banned her from my home before even meeting her or introducing my children. I told them to leave before the kids even saw them. I asked her if she knew about my 12-month rule. Not only did she know, but she also insisted that my father break the rule anyway. She said she was great with kids and knew my children would love her, so she thought it wouldn't be a big deal for me to make an exception for her. I came very close to hanging up on her when she said that. The whole reason I came to Reddit was because I thought I was being unfair to her, but this made it clear to me that she was also in the wrong. Instead, I decided to explain the 2022 incident. She didn't know about it. When I was done, she said that she understood why the rule was created and did apologize for trying to break it. I called my father the next day. I told him about the chat I'd had with his girlfriend, and he confirmed everything. He took her to the party because she wanted to go and wanted to make her happy. We had a very long discussion that almost escalated into a fight. I reminded him of the reasons my rule existed. The only one he truly deemed valid was the 2022 incident, which he is still ashamed of. The discussion touched many other topics, but the main one was that my children are the priority. I told my father that my main concern is protecting them, and I won't hesitate to cut anybody off, including family, if it means doing so. In the end, he agreed to deal with the consequences. His new girlfriend will be allowed to meet my kids at the 12-month mark, but she won't be welcome at my place. But if he does try to pull this stunt again, they'll both be cut off. We ended the call on a cold note, but he called me again on Friday. He apologized for everything and said that I was a great mother. I can tell when he's being sincere at this point, so I accepted the apology. Knowing my family, I don't think there'll be any problems with this for a while, and if there are, I've got it covered. I think this will be my last post. Thank you for all the support and encouragement you've given me. Wow, that's so wild. Yeah, keep it up, OP. You're doing the right thing. You sound like a really good mum. And on that note, I feel like that's enough entitled parents for today. We need to read something a lot more wholesome. This homeless man's rabbit was thrown over a bridge by a passerby, and he immediately jumped into the river to save her. He won an award and was given animal food and a job, and the passerby was charged with animal cruelty. Oh my god, that is so sad and awful and also beautiful at the same time because of this person. Shout out to this man. What an absolute legend. Like the top comment says, anybody who loves their pets knows there's only one choice there. What a great man. Oh yeah, we've read this one before, but it's so good. A 100-year-old rhododendron and the woman who planted it. Yeah, that's so beautiful. So impressive and so special. As some know, my dad is mentally and physically handicapped, and so especially now that he's older, he's unable to work or earn an income. But he has been saving his pocket change for the past month for some reason, and I thought nothing of it until I came home from work to this today. Coffee money. Love, Dad. Oh, that's so cute. Really beautiful, wholesome memes today. What a legend. That's so sweet and a beautiful place to end today's episode. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you had a wonderful time. And if you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you like and subscribe. And the comment of the day today goes to Chaos Good Vibes. Watching you this morning while getting ready for a job interview. Really nervous, but also very excited. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. I hope it went well. Yeah, that's so nerve-wracking. I hope it went super awesome. And thank you for watching my video beforehand. I really appreciate the support. And thank you all for the support, everybody. Having so much fun making episodes, and I'm so happy you guys are enjoying them. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow for more. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!